Hi, it's Mrs. Souza. I'm here in my basement at my workshop. But this is my portly little friend. His name is Norman. He's full of fluff, and he will likely be a helper throughout this project because he lives in the basement along with Mr. Tibbs, and he just kind of finds it like it's his right to come on the table whenever he wants, like while I'm making projects. Today we are going to make a sock puppet, and not just any sock puppet. We're going to use socks that you may have around the house. You should ask an adult to have them show you where the missing socks are. I have a little basket and I can never find the other sock. I don't understand. So today we're going to make a sock puppet. I am choosing this sock.
Besides the sock, here are some possible supplies that you might have or might consider using. A paper towel roll. The long paper towel roll is very helpful. I've discovered if I slide the sock on top of it, I can use both of my hands to create my sock puppet. Also, you might have some yarn, any type of yarn. You may have acrylic paint. You may have school glue. You may have buttons. You might have googly eyes. Or you may not have any of these things. Maybe you have markers. If you have markers, we can get this done. And this just isn't any sock puppet, people. This is going to be a sock puppet of your favorite teacher. Yes, that's right. We are going to make a sock puppet of your favorite teacher for Teacher Appreciation Week, for this week.
I'm going to guess that if you work as hard as I know you will on it, it will look just like the teacher you were hoping for. And best thing yet, your teacher will love it. No matter what, they will love it. So I'm going to make a sock puppet of one of my favorite teachers, and that is Mrs. Sweet. Mrs. Sweet is quite literally the sweetest lady I know. And with that, when I found this heart sock, I immediately thought of Mrs. Sweet. And I think if it doesn't look like Mrs. Sweet exactly, but I say it's Mrs. Sweet, I think it'll work pretty well. I want it to look like this. So this part will be on the sock, but I want to flip it over so that I can work on its eyes. I really don't want to glue stuff directly to my hand because I'm going to want it to sit for a while so that it can dry. I really don't want it to be on my hand while I wait for it to dry. So I found some in my giant yarn container back in one of these closets. This one over here. And it is brown, yep. And I'm going to cut, let's see, if I place it on, she has got kind of longish hair, but she sometimes wears it in a ponytail, a lot like Mrs. Souza. So I'm going to want to put a lot up on the top here, and I'm going to want to kind of make it, once I cut a bunch of yarn, I'm going to glue it on the top, and then I'm going to put like a little ponytail there. So I'm going to cut a couple of pieces of yarn about this long so that I can make a ponytail out of it. So now that I have cut some yarn, you can see that it even has different colors in it. It really is, it'll be okay. I just use what I have, and I suggest you do the same. If you have ribbon, if you have construction paper, just, be resourceful and use what you have. I know that many families have extra socks laying around, so this will be a good use of it. I'm going to use my sewing scissors. These are much sharper. All right. So here it is. Here's my hair. Remember, this is the front of Mrs. Sweet, my sock puppet. And I'm going to want to put the hair on like that. I'm probably going to glue it on. And then I'm going to want to kind of bring it back here so that I can turn it into a little ponytail. So at this point, you'll notice that Mrs. Sweet, the sock puppet, has kind of a little bald spot, and we're not going to want that. So at some point, I will put a little bit of yarn back there. So underneath my desk, I have a bunch of cool little storage containers, and I keep a bunch of stuff down there, including paper plates and some school glue. So we're going to go ahead and just use this, as I think that that might be what most have in their house. So
I'm going to go ahead and put some glue up here. Long lines of glue. You know how we say dot dot not a lot? Well, in this case, you're going to want to use a lot of glue.
Lay down my first piece of Mrs. Sweet hair. Of course, you may not have a favorite female teacher, and that is totally cool because we got a bunch of really awesome teachers that are males at Oakview too. So I am now past the point of putting it right there. Now I'm going to stick some more glue onto the back, which is the top of the head. This might actually go back. Great thing about this little cup thing is that I have plenty of ability to work with two hands. So if you have a paper towel roll, I would definitely use it. This was a weird idea that I had, and you know what? It's working. If you don't have a paper towel roll, you could use maybe a thin cup, even a cup. You could probably put it over the top of the cup, but remember to leave some of it hanging over a little bit, like so that you can be sure to put a face on later. I've now covered the very top with all of the hair. However, I do need to fill in the back a little bit, which would probably be right around here. So I got this space up here I'm going to need to fill in. I put glue up here on the top, and I'm going to go ahead and flatten these out, starting here. Go ahead and put that there. Trim some of those away. I'll show you. All right, so that's what I have so far. Ta-da! There will be the little ponytail. I love it. The hair is the hardest part to get this going. So once we move past hair, whether it's yarn or strips of paper that you glue on, or maybe even markers, whatever it is that you have to make your sock puppet of your favorite teacher, use it, because I bet it'll look awesome no matter what you use. Probably because it came from your imagination, and that is the strongest tool. Seriously. For the face, we can use, we can paint on some eyes. I think she has like brownish, greenish eyes, and I was looking up here at my button collection. This is just a small part of them, but If you've got any spare buttons, this would be good to use. These are not quite the same, but almost. So maybe I'll use these. What do you think? Okay, we'll do it. Good choice. Here's Mrs. Sweet, the sock puppet. So far, she has her little ponytail and the little brown eyes, which are made out of buttons. If you, like I said, googly eyes. I mean, I have paint. I could paint on little round dots if I wanted to. If you have markers, you can draw the little brown eyes or whatever color eyes you need to make for your favorite teacher. You know, it's all about investigating. What's going to work? What do I have? What are my materials, you know, and what's the best approach? Well, I'm going to go ahead and glue on a nose instead. So, let's see. I got eyes, nose, and I'm going to need a mouth. Now, the way that I do when I do sock puppets is this could be like a little smile or little lips. And then under here is where you kind of see their mouth, like when they laugh. And so I could put something here to look like a tongue. Hello. There it is, her little lip. See, there's my lip for Mrs. Sweet. It's not supposed to look realistic, but we are supposed to have fun. So I'm gonna stick a little bit of glitter in her hair. Maybe she would like that. Mrs. Sweet, the music teacher, she is one of my favorite teachers at Oakview. There are so many. And if it were Teacher Appreciation Week, which it is going to be, May 4th through the 8th, this would be a really fun activity to make. Make a sock puppet of your favorite teacher. And then you are going to put it on your hand and show your teacher on one of your maybe your next morning meeting, or maybe you ask to show it to her or him before one of the lessons, or like maybe right at the end of a lesson, there's a time when your teacher might say, are there any questions? And you can say, I made something for you and I can't wait to see what you've come up with for your Teacher Appreciation Week sock puppet. See you next time.